Welcome to PGA National Resort and Spa in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. We bring you the latest episode of The Traveling Golfer from one of the great resorts in America. Visitors find everything they need here, including the Dave Pelz Scoring Game School. On this episode of The Traveling Golfer, you're going to get an inside look at one of the great instructional programs in the world. Founded by Dave Pelz, the short game guru, he and his entire staff of very talented professionals take people in and they change your game in the most important area, scoring. And we'll have all of that from PGA National with the great golf courses and all of the great amenities right here on The Traveling Golfer.
This lager comes from a place that's been brewing beer for longer than anyone else in America, where men and women have crafted amber gold in the caves below since before refrigeration. It comes from Yuengling, America's oldest brewery, and brings with it all the know-how that doing a thing well for nearly 200 years affords. Yuengling Traditional Lager. Respect. It's earned.
How can we help you succeed? Conestoga Bank has been asking that question since 1888. Today, Conestoga Bank continues to focus on the needs of businesses in the greater Philadelphia area. Whether you're starting a business, expanding your current business, or finding new ways to make banking convenient, Conestoga Bank's got you covered. How can we help you succeed? Visit us in Center City, South Philly, or the surrounding counties, and online at ConestogaBank.com.
Hi, I'm Stacy Lewis, and my apparel of choice is Antigua. Whether I'm hanging out with friends or playing a different game, or cheering on my favorite team, and especially when I'm playing my favorite game. Antigua, apparel for your game.
Make this spring a time to get ahead. Take advantage of these exceptional offers at Kutztown Cadillac. Hit the road with an ultra-low mileage lease on this 2016 ATS sedan for $309 per month for 24 months. And that's not all. Feel the comfort and luxury of a 2016 Cadillac SRX crossover for only $349 per month for 24 months.
I got to get to Kutztown Auto and trade my buggy in.
Click KutztownCars.com, and where will you experience the Cadillac difference?
Kutztown! Great practice facility here at PGA National. You know, they say practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. And that's where the Dave Pelz Golf Schools come in. Dave Pelz has helped thousands of golfers with their game, their short game, all parts of the game. We caught up with him at one of the business conferences, and you're putting together an amazing schedule of these type of golf programs and golf schools all across the country.
We have some great exposure to golf in this country. We have 6 schools at permanent locations: Florida, Georgia, Colorado, California. We're pretty much all over, but then in the summertime, our staff travels. We go to 40 cities, and it's countrywide. We do a lot of teaching, and we're helping a lot of golfers shoot lower scores. That's our whole purpose. That's all we want to do, is help you get the ball in the hole faster. We want you to have fewer putts, and we want you to hit your wedges closer to the hole.
And your teachers follow it to the T when they work with your students.
Absolutely. We've tried and tested many teaching techniques, many technologies. I did all the research, and all my teaching is based on research. The things I learned, it's based on what I call it reality teaching. I don't care what you're trying to do. I want to know what you're doing in your swing. A lot of players say, oh, I do this and I do that, and they really don't. I measure what you do. Once we find out where you're weak, we start improving the mechanics. The base of the swing is based on mechanics. If you can't swing the club around your body, if you can't aim your putter, if you can't do the fundamentals of mechanics of the game, then you're probably never going to be a very good player. So we work on mechanics. Then we work on rhythm. Then we get the mechanics into that rhythm. I put the putter down, I look at the hole, I look back at the ball, I take the putter back, I go through. Now that's a boom, 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 boom. Now I've got a rhythm, my good mechanics within the rhythm. If I do it 500, 1,000 times, 5,000 times at the end of next year, when you put all of that rhythm and all that technique into a system, it starts to become a habit. You start to own it. Now you don't think about it anymore. Now my mind, instead of thinking about boom, 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 I do the boom, 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 boom. It really becomes simple enough for the average golfer to gain from it. When a golfer goes to our 3-day school, if we measure a year or 2 or 3 later, their handicaps are about 4.5 shots lower. And that's significant. If you're a 12 and you can get to an 8 or a 7, that's a big change. And it helps. It helps to be exposed to the pros. A pro doesn't really hit a putt any different than an amateur if the amateur knows where to aim and how to read the greens. I happen to be lucky enough to work with some of the best players in the world, and we do a lot of research. Phil Mickelson was one of my dear friends, but he came to me and said, could you help me? And I said, what are you talking about? I mean, you're one of the best short game players in the world. What are you talking about? He said, I need a shot a tournament. 1/4 of a shot per round for 4 rounds. I said, why? Where'd you get that number? He said, well, look, I've lost 6 majors by 1 stroke. If I had gotten into those 6 playoffs, I would have won one. I've never won a major. I've played in 43 majors. I've never won one. So we started working. Believe it or not, he improved his short game in a few little areas, and he's now won 5 majors. Makes a big difference if you really tune up your short game, if you really tune up your putting.
You're talking golf 365 days a year. Do you ever get tired of talking about the golf swing, the short game?
Tony, I really don't. I go to sleep at night thinking about golf. I wake up, I'm thinking about it. I have built an unbelievable facility in my own backyard where I walk out my door. It takes me 38 seconds from when I'm sitting in my living room to being on the deck with a wedge shot in the air. I can test, I can research, I can try all the different techniques myself. I go to occasional schools, they call them signature schools. If I'm in it, it's a signature school. If I'm not, it's really a better school. Honestly, people say, wait a minute, I want to go to a school you're in. Look, if you come to a school, make sure I'm not there, because if I'm there, you're going to want to hear stories. And I can talk, I can tell you stories, because I've lived this whole thing for many, many years. You get more work done in your game, and you probably improve a little more just coming to see my staff. They're better teachers than I am.
Mark Albert, Managing Senior Instructor, Dave Pelz Scoring Schools. Tell us a little bit about the Dave Pelz Scoring Game Schools, the 3-day school, the 1-day school, the differences.
Well, in a 1-day school, what we normally do is we introduce the students to the shots. So they'll get an introduction to the chip shot, to a pitch shot or wedge shot, and a bunker shot. And then all we do in the afternoon is practice the putting. And a 3-hour putting session is probably the longest practice session that a student will ever have. But we try to make it as interesting and as informative as possible, so that they get tested on their aim, they get tested on their impact, they get tested on whether a putter fits them well or not, which is very important for everything that they do. And then they work on their speed control, and they work on their mechanics, and they work on practicing well. What we see with golfers is that they don't practice well, and that 1-day clinic is a great start to do that. After that, if they come to a 3-day school, the best thing about the 3-day school is they get an opportunity to build habit as they go through the school, and it has a sort of a better pace and more rhythm to it as they practice on their short game. By the time they leave a 3-day school, getting their video review and working on the shots multiple times, they walk out of the school with a formation of habit, so they know when they're doing it right and they know when they're doing it wrong, and they become their own best teacher. Everybody gets better. They find something that makes them want to play golf more. So here at PGA National, they've got 5 golf courses. They get inspired to play, and they end up maybe staying an extra day or 2, and they end up playing golf and really enjoying their time.
Can you pick the number one big error that most players have in their golf swing? And if you want to back it up with 1A, B, and C, go ahead.
I guess the biggest thing or biggest problem that golfers have is that the closer they get to the green, the more they want to make a smaller motion and decelerate. So a decelerating golf swing is probably the biggest problem that golfers have. And then beyond that, what they don't do is they end up not getting feedback out of what they do. So it's very rare to see an amateur golfer hold their finish to get their feedback about the shot, whether it be for quality of swing or whether it be for distance control, whereas a PGA Tour professional will do that for every shot. If you hold your finish on each shot, every putt and every chip and every swing that you make, you actually improve on every swing that you make because you're going to get the feedback necessary to make yourself better in the future. It's a very big deal. You have to commit to your best golf swing, your best setup, and you have to sort of let go of the result a little bit and then get your feedback so you can understand what's good and what's bad.
Ben Wallace, one of the instructors, Dave Pelz Scoring Game School. And Ben, I just signed up for the 3-day full school, but I'm a little impatient. So can we do that in 3 minutes?
Absolutely we can. Here's what we do on day one. First, we're going to take you through an observation. After the observation, we'll get straight to work, working on your chip shot, working on your greenside bunker shots. Day two, we'll start with putting mechanics. We'll get into chipping, pitching, sand play. Day three, we'll work on putting speed control, putting stroke mechanics, green reading, distance wedge control, and sand play. You got all that, Tony? Now, don't panic. During the 3-day school, there's a lot of repetition, and we want our students to leave knowing all the information the best they can and being able to produce great short game shots.
Okay.
The all-new Exotics CB Pro Tungsten irons are the most technologically advanced exotics irons ever developed. The CB Pro Tungsten combines hollow construction with progressive tungsten sole weighting for an exceptional combination of control, distance, and forgiveness. The iron's hollow body design creates a more active face at impact and greatly enlarges the sweet spot. The result is longer, more accurate iron shots. The perfect complement to the iron's hollow body design is a heavy tungsten sole. The progressive weighting of the heavier tungsten sole provides each iron with the ideal center of gravity location for optimal trajectory and control on every shot. Exotics CB Pro Tungsten irons are the perfect combination of technology and performance, and the perfect complement to your game. Visit touredge.com to find a retailer near you.
People from all over the world come to PGA National Resort and Spa to play golf, to enjoy all of the amenities, and when they do, head of hospitality is their director of golf, Jane Broderick. You meet so many people. How do you keep them all in your mind and remember them? But I guess that's part of the job.
It is. It's very much part of the job. The membership is easy because we see them on a daily basis. The resort guest is a little bit more of a challenge.
The fact that they come from all over, that has to make you feel good knowing that you're sort of the Pied Piper.
It really does. It's a true feather in our cap to know that people do come from all over the world to visit us here in such a great area, at such a great facility. It's a great challenge. When we're booking starting times for our resort guests, it's a matter of what they're looking for, their level of ability. But in truth, anybody can play any one of our golf courses because we have multiple sets of tees across the board. If people play the appropriate set of tees, it's not quite as difficult.
Fazio Course is often the favorite course of the members at PGA National. Generous fairways, player-friendly, softer edges. While the Fazio Course is player-friendly, there is still risk-reward. 15th, a short par 4, but if you play away from the water, You have a much longer shot into a guarded green. To finish the Fazio course, you have both beauty and challenge on this 18th hole. Another Fazio course is the Squire, designed in tribute to Gene Sarazen. Tom Fazio's longtime friendship and respect of the Squire is seen in this course, which tributes old and new Florida golf. There are a series of holes that really lends a tropical feel to the Squire course. Like most Fazio courses, they're very playable, and the Squire course is no exception. The most tactical of the courses, golfers need to be on the right side of the fairway and making the right approach into. The green complexes on the last 4 holes require thought and skill. Better have your A game. Arnold Palmer, known for his friendliness and generosity. You'll see. In true Palmer style, there are very wide fairways, large greens with subtle undulations. The Palmer course stretches to almost 7,100 yards and is the longest of any of the courses at PGA National. There's almost 500 yards difference between the white and blue tees. People who have played a number of Arnold Palmer designed courses will certainly recognize his signature style. People will remember the 601-yard par 5 18th hole, not only for its difficulty, but for its amazing wetland beauty. The Champion Course, home of the Honda Classic. The 18th hole, a par 5, may seem like a bit of relief, but just like the rest of the course, there's more to it than it seems. The Champion Course has quite a reputation on the PGA Tour as one of the toughest. From the back tees, an incredible 148 slope and 75.2 rating. You may have seen it many times on television, but an entire new experience awaits. GPS is a huge tool at the Champion Course because there's a lot of unseen danger that players need to know about, even when Nicklaus gives you a bit of a respite. For example, the somewhat reachable par 5 10th hole that runs downhill, he follows it with a long par 4 that narrows as you approach the green and has peril everywhere. Hole number 12 on Nicklaus's Champion Course is a great example of the strategy needed to play here. It's a mid-range hole. Distance off the tee not quite as important, but accuracy certainly is, so that you have the proper angle in to this difficult green. Too far to this side, and this hole becomes a bear. Speaking of the bear, this is the first hole of the bear trap, number 15. The last thing you wanted to do is leave yourself an 80-foot putt, but maybe this is where the Dave Pelz distance control drills pay off. Thank you, Dave Pelz. The sharp edges around the green complexes on the Champion Course can leave you with some very difficult recovery shots. That's where the tip from the instructors at Dave Pelz to hold your finish could pay dividends. And once a player has survived the bear trap, the 18th hole is no picnic. A par 5, but it's one of the narrowest holes with hazards and bunkers on either side of the fairway, all the way to a tricky green. No matter where you land on the fairway at any of the courses at PGA National, the conditions are so good, every lie is perfect. Growing the game lip service sometimes at other places, not so at PGA National?
Not at all. You know, we have a very broad customer base of the 50 to 70-year-olds, and we're focusing very, very hard on the younger folks. Family programs, kids programs, year-round programs.
The fact that the Dave Pelz School works out of PGA National, I mean, that's one of the great names in golf.
And not only that, such talented instructors. The staff that the Pelz Academy has here, I would take anywhere with me to work. They're fabulous men.
Frank CALAGUIRE, Principal Managing Director of PGA National. Frank, you have a wonderful property here. Been around since 1982, but it's been constantly changing.
We really looked at this as an irreplaceable asset. So it was easy to spend over $100 million reinvigorating and reimagining every piece of the property.
Now when the PGA Tour comes, the pros certainly enjoy the property.
Absolutely. We've done all that we can to embrace the tour players and their families and make them feel like this is their home away from home for Honda Week.
When you come in the gates at PGA National, you enter not just the resort, but a 1,200-acre property that has just about anything anyone could want. And you're in charge of it all. Good luck.
Well, thank you, Tony. Yeah, we've got a great facility here. We host a lot of USTA tennis programs. We have 18 tennis courts, and we just completed a multi-million-dollar renovation and the latest and greatest in technology that really support equipment.
If somebody's coming here for the Dave Pelz Golf School to get their game in shape, they ought to get their body in shape too.
No question. You got the best in fitness trainers and exercise physiologists, and they work with the golfer.
That takes care of before golf. After golf, that's where you really pump it in the high gear.
Well, we've got some great pool complexes. We've spent a lot of time in development, and it offers a wide range of recreation in the pool area. We have 9 restaurants on property, and they're suited for every palate and every price point. Ironwood is our signature restaurant. Greatest steaks really in the PGA corridor, and certainly the I-Bar is one of those great bars as you walk in and you see this wonderful new lobby space. We now have renovated all of our guest rooms. We're very, very proud of our contemporary design for our new guest room product.
Well, that's about it. After 3 days of beautiful Florida weather at the Dave Pelz Scoring Game School here at PGA National Resort and Spa. Special thanks to Dave Pelz and his entire staff for all the great instruction, and thanks to the architects who built all these great golf courses. What an experience. Now that I have that great foundation, all I need is a little bit of practice. Whoa! Or a lot of practice.
Tony Leodora's golf wardrobe, courtesy of Antigua, the leader in modern golf apparel. Tour Edge is the official equipment sponsor of the Traveling Golfer.